The World Series is a wild ride of emotions and pressures, and two players at tonight's final table know that as well as anybody.
Joe doubles up again.
Poker is a roller coaster. 1 minute you're high, next minute you're low.
My nerves are crazy. I woke up. I've been throwing up a few times on the way here. There's a lot of pressure right now.
Both players have something to prove. For the former world champ Joseph Hachem, it's validation.
I'm in the bullseye the whole time. And knowing the pressure that I'd be under to come back and do well in this World Series will be really great.
For Dutch Boyd, it's time to get a monkey off his back.
I think about how many times I've been in this spot before and just blew it. But I think today is going to be the day. Our chances just got a little bit better.
Tonight, it's a six-handed championship. Everyone chasing a bracelet at the ultimate proving ground, the World Series of Poker. Welcome to the World Series of Poker presented by Milwaukee's Best Light. There's a buzz in the air tonight. The Rio Poker Room is packed, and everyone is here to see if 2005 World Champ Joseph Hachem can bring home another bracelet. In fact, another World Champ, Greg Raymer, is also here for support alongside Joe's wife, Jeannie. But standing in Hachem's way is the massive chip leader, Dutch Boyd, who has support in the stands as well, including a surprise visitor, his mom. Perhaps Eva Siebert will watch her son win his first bracelet and almost $500,000. Hello, everyone. Along with Norman Chat, I'm Lon McCarran. With his impressive play since winning the main event in 2005, Joseph Hachem has proved he's no fluke. Tonight, he's trying to do something no player has done since Chris Ferguson in 2001, win a bracelet the year after capturing the big one.
Frankly, Lon, I'm more impressed with Joseph Hachem in the years since he won the main event. With all eyes on him, there's not a hair out of place. He gets his money in with the best of it. So we know he's not a fluke, but a bracelet tonight would vault him into an even higher realm of poker royalty.
Joseph Hachem made a final table at a World Series circuit event shortly after his main event win, and there's another world champ in the room to get us underway.
Ladies and gentlemen, Texas Dolly himself, Doyle Brunson.
Thank you, Nolan. Players, good luck. Dealers, shuffle up and deal.
Every tournament should start that way, but Doyle doesn't want to talk that much.
Looking at our chip count, this is a six-handed final table. Jeff Knight is the short stack. Joseph Hachem in third, and way out in front, 25-year-old poker pro Dutch Boyd.
This format is unique. They play at six-handed tables throughout the tournament. Joe Hachem says short-handed is his specialty. It plays to his strength, which is selective aggression.
Give me a walk, kids.
This again?
Yeah, I'm going to start. If you don't ask, you don't get. Give me a walk, kids.
Joe Hachem is in the big blind and kindly requesting that everyone fold over to him. On the Milwaukee's Best Light pocket cam, Dutch Boyd with King 5 of diamonds.
Boyd can be more aggressive than Hachem, though.
You trying to bust me, Boyd? Huh? You trying to bust me already?
Dutch Boyd makes a raise to 18,000 on Joseph Hachem now. Suited ace-8.
I thought you promised you weren't going to try and bust me.
Hachem will play that ace, and so Dutch Boyd and Joe Hachem will go to the flop. Dutch Boyd's mom looking on after surprising her son at this final table. The flop is 3, 6, 8, all clubs. Hachem paired his 8 to extend his lead, and he checks. Dutch Boyd checks behind him. Joe Hachem with a big lead going to the turn now. Turn card is a 4 of clubs, and now there are 4 clubs on the board.
Check.
And if you don't have a club in your hand, you can't be too happy.
Dutch does not have a club, but he did get a straight draw. And after Hachem checks, Boyd will bet 24,000.
And with that aggressive move, Dutch Boyd seizes control of this hand. It's very possible Joe Hachem might lose his taste for his pair of 8s.
And Hachem indeed kicks them in. And with a little bravado, our chip leader takes this pot. And more reasons for Dutch's cheering section to applaud as our chip leader gets stronger. And Greg Raymer's playing waiter.
Anything for the champ.
Tell him to give me the chips, Greg.
They probably have some type of top secret world champion signal they give each other for coffee and donuts.
That is what our winner gets today, over $475,000, and most importantly, a gold bracelet. Joe Hachem looking for his second. That's his main event bracelet. Joe's wife, Jeannie, is still in town. She and their 4 sons were supposed to head off to Australia yesterday, but Joe made the final table, so they're hanging around.
Hachem bested a field of 5,600 plus when he won his main event. This field of 824 must seem pedestrian.
22-year-old Michael Goodman from New York. Graduated college. He's taken this year to test the poker waters.
Double major in economics and government at Wesleyan. Right now, he says, I just play poker.
King 9 offsuit, and he's going to play this hand. Goodman raised it up to 18,000 over to Pete Hassett.
Who called Dutch this morning to make sure their bandanas wouldn't clash.
Hassett folds. Dutch Boyd with a suited 5-4. And a raise in front of him. He'll make the call. That is David Solomon who folds. Now to Joe Hachem, Queen 10. And Joe Hachem is going to play as well. So 3 players to the flop. Goodman has the high card with the king. And here's our flop. Queen, deuce, 3 all hearts. Hachem pairs his queen. Boyd with an up and down straight draw.
We've got 3 baseball caps, a couple bandanas, 4 sets of sunglasses. If I ever make a final table on, no headwear, no shades, but I might have a parrot on my shoulder.
All players check to the turn. It's a 6 of diamonds. Now Boyd pulls the carpet from underneath Hachem and hits the straight. Hachem will bet first.
And Joe's going to bet 1 card too late, Lon. He had checked the best hand. Now he is drawing dead.
Hachem comes out with 25,000. Goodman folded right away. Back over to Dutch Boyd.
Dutch with the nut straight on the turn.
Dutch Boyd will just make the call.
Yeah, he might fear that Hachem is slow playing a flopped flush.
Neither player has a heart in their hand. And here's the river card. It's a 3 of diamonds. Hachem first to act. Hachem bets again.
If Hachem thought his hand was best on the turn, no reason he wouldn't think it's best now.
Dutch calls.
Got a queen.
Not good enough. There's the straight.
Hey,
Dutch Boyd 2. The world champ nothing early.
When I grow up, I want to be like Dutch.
I'm not sure poker's ready for another Dutch. This final table has their hands full with the real Dutch Boyd.
The 2006 World Series of Poker is presented by Milwaukee's Best Light, brewed for a man's taste, Miller Brewing Company, and in part by Harrah's Entertainment, home of the world's richest poker tournament, and ParadisePoker.net, home of the free $1 Million Poker Tournament.
Back at the Rio, David Solomon has just been eliminated from this final table. Solomon's King 6 fell to the King Queen of young Michael Goodman. And with the addition of those newly won chips, Goodman tightens his grip on second place. Joseph Hachem further back in third. One of our short stacks, 33-year-old Jeff Knight, says he learned to play gin from the man considered the best gin player of all time, Stu Unger. Dutch Boyd finished 12th in the main event in 2003.
Dutch has been a polarizing figure in poker. He had an online business venture that went south, left a lot of people in the poker community upset at him.
With ace-queen, he's going to raise it up to 18,000, putting pressure once again on Joe Hachem to his left. Hachem with 10-7.
Hachem says that since winning the main event, he makes a lot more money now in cash games, says people just throw their money at him. They love playing pots against the world champ.
So all we got to do is win the main event, and then we'll win a lot of money from cash games?
50.
Yeah, that first part's going to be difficult.
Hachem re-races to 50,000.
All in.
And Boyd moves all in.
What?
All in.
Set all in.
Wow.
Whoa.
Well, Joe Hashem's not going to call here. He's got nothing. Give us a little Hollywood. But, Lon, I don't want people to say all in anymore. It's boring. I want them to say Heidi-ho.
Wow.
Heidi-ho.
Yeah, it sounds better.
Heidi-ho. I'll try it. Greg Raymer thinking, better you than me, Aussie.
And if you got a lot of chips like Dutch does, you go, Heidi, Heidi, Heidi-ho.
Good luck with that, Norman.
Come on board, Lon. It brings a little more panache to the game.
Well, you were right about one thing. Hachem did fold his cards to our chip leader. And Greg Raymer knows a thing or two about big stack poker. He could have counseled Joe to fold that hand right away. In fact, the 2004 world champ became quite the sounding board for his successor on how to cope with the pressures of winning the big one.
There you have it. Joseph Hachem stands alone.
As the reigning champ, as the face of poker for 2005, I kind of wanted to do my best to represent the profession as well as I could. And I was just thinking, well, who has experienced this, what I'm going to experience now? And the closest person was Greg.
Raymer wins
I was impressed with the way that he conducted himself. He always tried to represent the sport the best way that he could. And I thought it won't hurt to ask someone who's already been there and see what he has to say.
He called me up and asked me if I could have lunch with him the next day. He wanted to know about things like signing endorsements, dealing with the media. Should he get an agent? Do I have a recommendation?
And he just told me, just be who you are. That's my life motto anyway, just try and be who I am and be true to myself.
He's already shown himself to be exceptionally capable of handling the pressure, of handling the media.
Greg and I have become actually good friends. Being 2 world champs is a big thing to have in common. I'm happy to call him a friend.
Joe says they grew closer when they toured Europe together along with 2003 world champion Chris Moneymaker, and to pass the time, the three of them would play a game that Raymer made up called 17-card Chinese poker.
Action is on Dutch Boyd now.
Dutch's grandmother taught him how to play when he was 10. They played for Tootsie Rolls.
At age 12, Dutch entered college. He graduated from law school at age 18. Boyd with ace-7 offsuit, bets $24,000, putting pressure on Joe Hachem again. Hachem, a suited ace with a jack.
I'm all in.
And Hachem moves again. Genie's thinking, well, if we lose this hand, we can catch that late flight to Australia. On to Pete Hassett, king, queen offsuit.
Hassett, a video game tester. I guess somebody's got to do it. He actually graduated from Illinois Institute of Art. I applied there. They said,
One of many, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Come on.
And Hassett is going to move all in.
Boyd immediately mucks his hand.
Come on, baby.
Joseph Hachem with an opportunity to knock Hassett out of here.
Ace jack against king queen. Ace jack. Boyd, do you have a picture? Have anything of these? Do you have any of these?
I had an ace.
Dutch did fold an ace.
I've got him covered. I've got 145.
Hachem in the lead.
I thought maybe he was trying to make a move.
Well, he was trying to make a move.
Joe made the right move. He's got the best hand.
I'm the favorite, but I can't believe he called with that hand against 2 raises.
Exactly. Tell me what happens.
If he wins, it's just a bad.
True to his form, Joe Hachem will not watch the cards come out. Now our flop. Ace-8 deuce. And that nearly puts Hassett away.
Still do this.
Hassett and Dutch bonded last night over a couple of drinks at the Rio.
Pair the deuce.
Hassett nearly hopeless here. He'd need running kings, running queens, or running straight cards.
Turn card is a 7, and that will finish it out. Pete Hassett has been eliminated from this 6-handed final table. He'll take home almost $92,000.
I knew you could do it. Thanks. I knew you could do it, baby.
Well, a nice score for Joe Hachem there.
Who's the champ?
Huh?
Who's the champ?
You are.
Who's the champ?
With the power of 2 champion minds and more chips, Joe Hachem will be a more dangerous player at this final table.
Woo!
The World Series of Poker presented by Milwaukee's Best Light.
Welcome back inside to the Rio Poker Room and our 6-handed championship. We're down to our last 4. Dutch Boyd is still our chip leader, and on the heels of knocking out Pete Hassett, Joseph Hachem is trying to get on a roll at this final table.
My favorite thing about Jeff Knight is that he just doesn't care for poker players. He says most of them look miserable and sound miserable.
Dutch Boyd with king 9 of hearts.
Dutch, one of the founding fathers of the crew. People come and go from the crew. Right now they are 11 members strong.
Dutch has been aggressive, raising Joe Hachem, but he just limps in.
Part of a Hollywood thing.
Hachem in the small blind, wondering why Dutch took so long to make that call.
Joe with queen 4 of spades.
You've scared me now.
He's a little suspicious of Dutch Boyd. Over to Michael Goodman. Goodman with pocket kings.
Raise.
He's going to raise it up.
Pocket kings can't be scared.
Going to make it 30,000 to Dutch Boyd. Dutch will make the call with his suited king 9.
You boys are too good for me. I'm out.
Hachem is patient.
And he will fold, so it'll be Goodman and Boyd. Goodman leads with his kings, but Dutch Boyd hits trip 9s on the flop.
Goodman first to act.
Goodman will sit on his kings.
He might be slow playing those kings over there.
There's Dutch Boyd's brother Bobby with their mom. And Dutch will check behind him, playing it coy.
We know Dutch is slow playing.
To the turn is a 4. No help for Goodman. He still trails. He's in a lot of trouble, though he doesn't know it.
50.
And Goodman will act now with 50,000.
So he was slow playing those kings. Trying to set a trap, but it's Dutch who'll do the trapping here.
Dutch Boyd with the trip 9s. Makes the call.
Dutch says, nobody out slow plays me.
Goodman said, why are you still here, Dutch? The queen does nothing for Goodman. Dutch Boyd earns the check mark with his 3 9s. Goodman checks. And now Dutch will bet. It's 100,000 back to Goodman.
Call.
Oh, boy. He'll see the 3 9s and oh.
Quick call from Mike, bad result.
And another reason for the crew to get on their feet and cheer Dutch Boyd, our chip leader.
Nice to flop some hands.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes, it is.
It's nice to flop some hands.
Dutch says poker is a lonely game. He loves having the crew behind him.
And he loves having almost 1.4 million chips.
I officially have chip envy, okay?
I think that's the coolest thing I've ever heard in my entire life, you telling me that. I really...
Joe Hachem may have chip envy, but that bracelet on his wrist is the envy of every poker player, maybe Dutch Boyd more than most. Bracelets are getting harder and harder to come by these days, and while Dutch has come close, he has yet to earn one he can call his own. He flips it, it is a 5, and that's going to do it. Dutch Boyd eliminated. TJ Cloutier has won this Raz World Championship.
By that time, I had touched a bracelet before, and I'd worn them, but I'd never gotten so close to my own bracelet.
Let's hear it for Dutch Boyd.
That was hard, man. That was hard. I fell apart.
Can I see it?
Sure. You'll win many of them, so don't worry about it.
We'll see.
Every time you get into this position, you wonder if it's going to be the last time. Every single time. And it's scary, you know, because you don't want to blow it. There is pressure when I see, you know, my boys taking down bracelets after bracelets and tournaments after tournaments.
Scott Fishman has defeated Joe Iwata.
It is all about the bracelet. If I win this bracelet, it's just icing on the cake. And it shows everybody, oh yeah, I guess Dutch wasn't the weakest link. I guess he wasn't just some guy who, you know, hit it big back in the day and leached onto the success of others. I am out to prove something to my crew, but I've fallen apart in the past. But not this time. This time I'm taking home the gold bracelet.
Dutch still cites his best poker highlight as watching former crew member Brett Youngblood win his bracelet.
Dutch's mom is very religious, was against Dutch playing poker for a long time. Then her church pastor invited Dutch to play in a home poker game, and she changed her tune. It's all okay with her now.
That's how I started bingo.
Michael Goodman with 10-9 offsuit. He's going to raise it up to 23,000 chips. Jeff Knight only entered this tournament because of a bet with his friend, and now here he is at the final table. With ace-4 of clubs, he'll make the call. It's over to Dutch Boyd with pocket 6s. Dutch Boyd reaching for those red chips worth 5,000 each.
Raise.
He announces a raise. There's the call right there. Let's see how much he's going to raise it. It's another 100,000.
Dutch, easily the most aggressive player left at this table.
Gets rid of Hachem and Goodman and Knight.
What are you doing?
Doing the best I can here, Joe.
Play a pot, man.
I don't have enough to play a pot, Joe.
Come on, guys. Don't let the chips scare you. They're only chips.
Hachem trying to scare up some action.
So, Joe, I've got a little 5-year-old brother, and he plays poker already. But my mom's too embarrassed to ask for your autograph for him.
Ah, of course.
Yeah?
Yeah, no problem.
So Eva has 3 poker-playing sons, aged 5 to 25.
My youngest son is older than him.
Yeah?
Joe Hachem has 4 children, ages 10 to 15. My guess, Norman, is they know their way around a deck of cards.
22.
Joe Hachem, ace-8 offsuit. He's going to raise it up to 22,000. Goodman folds, as does Knight. Now on the chip leader, Dutch Boyd. Ace-5 offsuit.
And the big stack is in the big blind.
Hachem has raised it. Dutch will make the call. And Dutch dominated his ace-5 against Hashem's ace-8. Now the flop queen, 3 ace, an ace for both, but Hachem with the better kicker. Dutch checks.
45.
Joe is going to bet 45,000.
Raise.
Raise from Dutch Boyd. Keeping the pressure on the 2005 world champ. Dutch makes it 120,000.
I'm all in. I'm all in.
Hachem moves all in.
Call.
And we've got a call. This is the degree all-in moment. Joe Hachem at risk of being knocked out, but he's ahead.
Come on!
And Hachem energized by this moment.
Yeah, 2 high points. 9.
Come on, baby.
5 ball, 1 time.
Just give me an 8 on the turn. 8's the correct card, yeah?
I guess it would be awkward if he went over there and hugged Raymer instead of his wife.
For all of us. Turn card is a 4. Hachem not out of the woods yet. Boyd has a straight draw.
3, 4, 5.
Oh, no.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Dutch is right. With a 3 or a 4, they split the pot with aces up, queen kicker. With a deuce or a 5, Dutch would send Hachem home to his wife and Greg Raymer.
Here's the river card. It's a 6. And Hachem does earn the degree check mark, doubling up through our chip leader.
That would have been the tournament right there.
No, dude, what
That
a
would have
tease.
been
It's
it.
all right, dude. You still got this, baby. You still got it.
Give me some Aussie, come on. That's it.
Next thing you know, he'll have Fossilman start the wave.
Right.
So Joe Hachem with a nice double up at a critical moment. He's nearing 600,000 chips.
You're so funny. What'd she say? It's going to be so much easier for me to get a signature now.
I've been such a fan of Joe Hachem for a year. I've been following so closely because I kind of have a little crush on him. He's so cute. And so I was afraid that if he buzzed out, I wouldn't get his signature.
What a coincidence. I've had a crush on Joe Hachem for years.
So Joe survives his all-in. Mom can still get that autograph, and Dutch better be careful. A world champ's on his tail.
The Degree All-In Moment is brought to you by Degree for Men. Protects men who take risks.
Back to the Rio, 4 players left. Dutch Boyd leads the way. 2005 world champ Joe Hachem has momentum, and everybody is gunning for a World Series bracelet.
If Jeff Knight doesn't like poker players, I got to figure a poker table's a tough place for him to be.
King Queen for Dutch Boyd after Knight folded. And Boyd's going to raise it again. Hachem looks annoyed. He's got ace queen.
I'm all in.
Heidi ho!
And that means all in. Maybe it'll work. 555,000 more.
If Dutch is seriously thinking about this, it tells me he wants Joe Hachem out of here. If he's got what he thinks is a coin flip situation to bust him, he will take it.
I call.
And Boyd will take the chance.
Come on! Give me the ice!
Boyd finds himself in trouble once again to Hachem.
Do this again.
What do you got? What do you got?
King, queen against ace, queen. I'm dominating.
You don't think Hachem doesn't want this bracelet?
Look, all I need to do is get lucky once. If I keep on pushing them all in.
Sorry, honey. I'll keep doing it to you. I'm sorry, honey.
Oh, look, they got a fill-in for Raymer.
Every time so far.
Dutch Boyd in a lot of trouble, in danger of handing a lot of chips over to a world champion. Now the flop, ace queen versus king queen. It's 9-4-6, a big bet, nothing for Dutch Boyd.
An ace on the turn, it's all over. A small card. He's got very little cards.
Ace or what? Queen.
I know, I don't know.
As usual, Joe doesn't want to look, but he's in great shape to double up.
And now with a jack there, Dutch gets a straight draw, picks up some more outs. Mama poker player, she seems to know that.
Well, Dutch keeps finding more ways to torment Hachem. Now he can knock him out with a king or a 10 for a
Please,
straight.
you can do it, honey. I love you, baby. I love you, baby.
Now the river card. That's an ace. It'll give the hand to Joe Hachem. He doubles up again through Dutch Boyd.
Man, that's rough.
Yep, that's 2 times now that Dutch Boyd has gotten Joe Hachem healthy.
That's twice, though, man. That's twice.
That's poker.
Did he just say that's poker? Around this room, that's a 4-letter word, and it's also the focus of this week's edition of The Nuts.
That's poker just means, you know, I wish I had an ice pick and I could jam it into the guy's neck who just bad beat me, is all that it means.
You know, that's poker.
That's poker.
That's poker.
Of course that's poker. We're not playing pinochle.
That's poker covers like everything. What is it really that poker is?
That's poker, man.
It kind of makes me ill.
That's basically their way of telling you they got a bad beat without complaining.
Why do I get deserve this?
Forget that. Oh, it's painful.
Yes!
That's poker.
It's like everything's poker. It's like, well, you know, I had 2 kings and lost. That's poker. Oh, I got low on chips. That's poker. What is poker then?
It means I got screwed. There's no God.
From the heavens. That's poker, man.
Lon, last week I had pocket kings cracked by an unemployed Franciscan monk playing 8-3 offsuit.
That's poker.
He's an out-of-work monk.
All right, we continue the World Series of Poker presented by Milwaukee's Best Light. Joe Hachem is now our chip leader. Hashem's got 6-5 of clubs.
I make the nuts, you make second nuts with the jack.
He limps in. Goodman folds.
I overheard Jeff Knight talking the other day, and he said, that's gin.
Action on Dutch Boyd now. And ace-jack from the big blind. No raises in front. Dutch has been very aggressive today.
Be friendly, Dutch.
Hachem trying to hold the price down.
But nope, Dutch will raise it to 36,000.
Wow.
They can't get out of each other's way.
You want it that bad?
You know, these two had never played with each other before the final table. They seem to be doing some catching up. Hachem wanted to play this cheaply. He's got small suited connectors. Was hoping that he didn't have to put any more money into the pot.
Dutch made it 36,000 total, and Hachem will follow him into the pot. So here we go again. These two heads up. Dutch with the advantage, holding ace-jack, and Hachem jumps to the front, now pairing his 6.
This is a clash of two different styles. Dutch does tend to be more aggressive. Joe tends to be more restrained.
There's Dutch again, betting 36,000. And hoping it gets some help down the line. Or maybe just trying to buy it right here.
Well, Joe knows he might be trying to buy it, and he's wondering if his 6s are good right now.
Well, Joe thinks just that. So with the pair of 6s, Hachem calls. He still has the advantage as these two go to the turn. Turn card now. Oh, it's a jack! And that's a card Dutch was looking for. He's now in the driver's seat.
Well, Dutch originally was looking for Hachem to get out after the flop, but Dutch gets lucky on the turn.
And they both check it to the river.
Huh.
River card is a 7, and Boyd earns the check mark. He can't lose unless he folds.
I don't know why Dutch checked the turn. He hit top pair, top kicker, and with all the drawing possibilities out there, you wouldn't want to give the other guy a free card.
And Dutch Boyd will bet 40,000 to Joe Hachem, who now has the task of trying to figure out what Dutch Boyd is up to.
Well, if I were a world champ, I'd be confused to what Dutch had. So just imagine how confused I am not being a world champ.
And Hachem will make the call, and he will lose those chips to Dutch Boyd.
If I were Hachem, I'd tell the lady to go find somebody else's autograph.
So happy times for Dutch's family and crew. And after losing 2 big double-ups and a chip lead, Dutch Boyd could easily have gone on tilt. Instead, he regrouped and welcomes home some of his lost chips.
The World Series of Poker Tournament Summary.
Hundreds of fans showed up for the $5,000 no-limit hold'em final table and possible history in the making.
Yes!
For once, the colorful Marcel Lusk was not the center of attention.
Let's have a round of applause for Phil going for number 10!
Instead, all eyes were on Phil Hellmuth, who was front and center in chasing an historic 10th World Series bracelet.
Let's go, Philly boy. Let's go.
Poker's biggest stars showed up to watch Phil, including co-record holders Doyle Brunson and Johnny Chan.
So you all like to just spot me in the nuts every hand for all your chips, right?
Hellmuth outlasted Lusk and almost everyone else to go heads up for number 10.
Now I feel like it's time for me to try to make history.
But his opponent, Jeff Cavanius, would not go down quietly, as he was prepared to stand in history's way, and taunts from Cavanius supporters would make it even tougher for Phil.
Let's go, baby!
Please respect me. All I ask for is respect, am I right? You got a bunch of classy friends over there, buddy.
At the end of the day, it was not meant to be for Phil Hellmuth as Cavanius wore him down to take home his very first World Series of Poker bracelet.
You go for bracelets, you have to play hard and play for everything. I beat 608 people, but not 609.
Do you know how much it's got to kill Hellmuth to be denied his 10th bracelet at the hands of a 22-year-old wearing an unironed, untucked shirt?
Got to be rough. Meanwhile, out in the field here at the Rio, the quest for Player of the Year continues. Daniel Negreanu, who's always in the running for that title, almost made tonight's shorthanded final table. 2004 Player of the Year finished 8th after getting his pocket aces cracked by this man, Dutch Boyd.
That's poker.
I knew you were going to say that. All right, we're four-handed at this final table. Joseph Hachem folds over to Michael Goodman, 22-year-old from New York, with 7-5.
All in.
Offsuit, all in. Heidi-ho.
You warm the cockles of my heart, Lon.
We'll see if it works down the line. Ace deuce for Jeff Knight.
Call.
And he's going to make the call.
Knight doesn't like the way poker players smell. He doesn't like the way they whine. I don't even know why he's here.
He should just stick to video poker, perhaps. Dutch Boyd with Queen Jack of diamonds. There's two players in front of him, and he is going to re-raise.
Boy, he's being aggressive from the big blind.
75,000 is the re-raise. Knight folds. Goodman is all in, and Goodman is in trouble against Dutch Boyd.
And Dutch there being aggressive. He drove out Jeff Knight's better hand, and now he can knock out Michael Goodman.
It's good to be out of it and just watching.
Hachem happy to be on the sidelines. And Dutch Boyd in good position. He has a 2-to-1 advantage on Goodman. Goodman with 7-5 offsuit. And the flop. Oh, and Goodman gets a piece of that. He pairs his 5 to take the lead.
Come on.
And maybe Dutch Boyd did Goodman a favor. Jeff Knight would have hit a pair of aces there on the flop.
As it is, Knight will watch these two go heads up to the turn. Boyd in danger of giving away more chips, this time to Goodman, who's all in. The turn card is a 4. Goodman is still best.
Goodman trying to hold on for his tournament life. Dutch Boyd can still knock him out with a jack, queen, or king.
River card now. Oh, it is the king! Dutch Boyd hits a straight on the river to win the pot. And Michael Goodman is gone in 4th place, wins almost $116,000. Nice payday for the young poker player. And a down-to-the-wire win for Dutch Boyd.
Brilliant, Dutch. Absolutely brilliant. I like your work.
Thanks.
I like your work.
So we are now down to 3 players thanks to Dutch Boyd at this final table. Boyd over 1 million chips, Hachem 900,000, and Jeff Knight the short stack.
We are left with a world champion of poker, a captain of a poker crew, and a guy who hates poker players.
Jeff Knight with 4-3 offsuit.
Jeff says sometimes he'll even just throw all his money in because he's just tired of being around the players.
He limps in. Boyd with Jack 5 offsuit. And again, he will raise to 24,000.
Knight will call and hope to get lucky on the flop.
Now the flop is Jack 10-8. Boyd puts a hammerlock on the hand with a pair of jacks. Knight first to act, and he will check it over to Dutch. And he bets 24,000.
All in.
And Knight moves all in.
Jeez, maybe he is tired of Dutch and Joe. Heidi-ho with squadouche.
Cost Dutch Boyd 127,000 total.
A call.
And he will make the call. And so Jeff Knight all in with a 3% chance of winning this hand with his 4-3 offsuit.
Yeah, he had to turn those cards over fairly sheepishly.
Indeed he did. Dutch's supporters see that he's in good shape, and Hachem sees he's maybe just a card or two away from going heads up for his 2nd bracelet.
Unless there is a get-out-of-jail-free card in that deck, Jeff Knight is in a heap of trouble.
All right, here we go to the turn card now, and it's a jack, and that ends it right there. Dutch Boyd with trips. Sweet. And Jeff Knight goes out in 3rd place. And Dutch Boyd is now 1 step closer to his first bracelet.
I think Jeff Knight got his wish. He can go find a gin game.
So we started with 824 players. We're now down to the final duo.
Well done, mate. See you on me now, kid.
I had a feeling.
On paper, this was the final matchup people expected. Joe Hachem versus Dutch Boyd for the title.
The World Series of Poker presented by Milwaukee's Best Light.
Welcome back to the Rio. The duel we've all been waiting for has arrived. A heads-up match between Dutch Boyd, the chip leader for most of this final table, seeking his first bracelet, and Joseph Hachem, looking to back up his main event win last year with a second World Series title. These two have been slugging away at each other, but there's still one round to go.
I really feel like this tournament is mine to lose at this point.
I would love to win a bracelet, but I just want to play my best poker.
And he's obviously met with some more success, but I would be scared to sit down with me. I mean, how do you beat somebody who plays as good or better and wants it more?
Poker players by nature are competitive. I always want to win, no matter how many times I've won.
I want this bracelet. I want my first one. And when I get my bracelet, I'm gonna get a tattoo right here.
This is like a classic heavyweight matchup, the boxer against the brawler. Hachem likes to dance and play smaller pots. Dutch likes to look for the knockout punch.
And for Joe Hachem,
30.
ace-10. He's going to make it 30,000 to go.
Dutch says 3 things change a person: success, failure, and time. For me, it was a 4th thing: Metamucil.
King-Jack. Boyd will make the call. Hachem will have the advantage going to the flop. It's 7, Jack, 10. Both pick up a pair. Hachem is 10, but Boyd leads by pairing his Jack. He checks, as does Joe Hachem. Turn card now is a 3, a blank for Hachem. Boyd's in good shape.
Well, both are just sort of circling each other right now.
Dutch checked again.
40.
Joe Hachem with a pair of 10s bets 40,000. Hashem's 10s trailing Dutch Boyd's Jacks.
Raise.
Boyd announces a raise. He's going to make it 120,000 chips now.
You trying to bully me around, Dutch?
That's what I'm trying to do.
Huh?
That's what I'm trying to do.
Actually, Dutch with a very nifty check raise there, and he wants Hachem to think he's trying to bully him around at the moment.
And Joe Hachem will make the call.
Yeah, Joe's got middle pair with top kicker. It's a good hand and heads up.
River card now is a 5, and that gives Dutch Boyd the check mark. And he'll be first to act. Boyd lining up some chips. If he were bullying Hachem before, this would be a good backup bet.
200,000, and it is possible Hachem has Dutch playing a busted draw.
A big bet to Hachem.
A call.
And he makes the call. Oh, and Hachem loses the hand and is disgusted with himself.
Shouldn't she be rooting for the guy she has a crush on?
So a big win for Dutch Boyd. And Hachem still has not figured out his 25-year-old opponent.
Could that have been it? If I push all in, do you call?
No.
So a very quiet Joe Hachem now trying to regroup, and Team Hachem looking a little green in the gills, as they say down under.
Well, Hachem right now staring at about a 6-1 chip disadvantage against Dutch Boyd.
Dutch Boyd can taste his first bracelet. On the Milwaukee's Best Light pocket cam, he has King 3 offsuit.
When Dutch just missed getting a bracelet against TJ Cloutier in 2004, it was the first time he'd ever played Raz.
Boyd will just limp in with his King 3. Now Hachem with Ace Queen.
Now I'm all in.
And Hachem is going to push.
270. You can do it, Dutch. You can double me up.
Did you look?
Hmm?
Did you look?
I can't tell you that. But you can double me up.
And Dutch is thinking of doing just that.
I don't think you did. I'm going to call.
And Dutch Boyd will make the call. But Boyd's going to need help right now to win his bracelet in this hand.
I got it in with the best.
You know, Hashem's a pretty measured guy. What were the chances that he didn't look there?
Sorry, Queen of Spades.
One time.
And it's as if Dutch has decided, let me just race him and get lucky.
So Hachem with the Ace Queen, almost a 2-1 advantage over the King 3, and the flop. Oh! Boyd got his 3!
Goodness.
And if Dutch Boyd can hang on, this could be the end of it right here.
Yeah, Dutch gets lucky and the bracelet is within his grasp.
So Boyd with his pair of threes.
You can do it.
And now it's Hachem looking for help from the dealer. Turn card is a 10, and Dutch Boyd still leads. He's one river card away from his first bracelet. But Joseph Hachem did get a few more outs when that 10 came out.
What about the 10?
With a 10, they both have jacks and 10s, and Hachem would win with his ace kicker. A king would give Hachem a straight, or an ace or a queen would win for Hachem. Otherwise, Dutch Boyd is our champion.
Put a picture card on the board.
Hachem will take his chances with a picture.
Will Dutch Boyd win his bracelet now? No, he won't! And Hachem saw the crew celebrating. He says, no, put the money here. I won that hand.
Yeah, Joe Hachem again is stoked. Dutch Boyd is stunned.
And that is the third opportunity Dutch had to knock Hachem out, and that's the third time he's been denied.
Can you just make it easier than this? Why do you have to make it so hard? Huh? You make me sweat every time I'm all in.
The wife taking the blame for the husband having to sweat out another one. And this bracelet isn't fitting on anybody's wrist yet.
It's 3 times now. 3 times now, Joe.
3 times I've had the best hand, yeah?
Put them together, where are you, though?
Huh?
Put them together, though. I like my chances.
Joe Hachem still has an uphill fight, but his chances just got a lot better.
The 2006 World Series of Poker is presented by Milwaukee's Best Light, brewed for a man's taste, Miller Brewing Company, and Harrah's Entertainment, home of the world's richest poker tournament.
Welcome back to the World Series of Poker, presented by Milwaukee's Best Light, in this heads-up battle for the bracelet between 2005 main event champ Joe Hachem and Dutch Boyd, who's been in the driver's seat on this bumpy, pothole-filled road that is the final table. Ace-5 offsuit for Dutch Boyd. And again, he will limp in. Joe Hachem with ace-queen has him dominated again. And Joe Hachem getting out his chips. Once again, will push the action. Hachem makes it 60,000.
I'm all in. I'm all in.
You're all in? I'll call.
An all in and a call. It's Hachem at risk, but he's in control.
Ace queen, ace 5.
Hachem keeps getting his money in against Dutch Boyd with the best of it.
One more time, we need it. One more time. That's it.
How many times am I going to have to put this guy all in? One time, man.
What? Every time I go in, I'm a huge favorite. What am I going to do? Yeah? We need one more time, huh?
Dutch just looking to get lucky, and this time, unless he does, the chip lead will belong to Joe Hachem.
That's exactly what
Queen,
Dutch
queen.
Boyd
Queen,
is
queen.
trying to avoid as he goes for his first bracelet against the 2005 world champ.
Dutch seems just to be looking for one suck out, and he can take this thing home.
So Boyd's going to need some help with his ace-5 against the ace-queen of Joe Hachem. And here we go to the flop. It is 9 ace-king and ace for both. Hashem's queen right now is saving the day.
Hachem tightens his grip. Hachem is all in and uneasy.
Dutch uneasy as well, in danger of losing his chip lead.
Dutch told us there's nobody standing in my way except myself. Well, he's standing in his own way again.
If the queen comes, you can't lose. If the king comes, you can't lose. You can only get tied.
All right, now we're ready for the turn card.
For a winner, a tie.
Turn card is a jack, and that keeps Hachem in the lead.
We got one more card to go, baby. Anything but a 5. Come on, baby. One more time.
Hachem poised to double up and take the chip lead. If a jack or 9 comes on the river, they would split the pot. They both have aces up and play the king kicker on the board. The only way Dutch Boyd can take home the title is with a river 5.
And now the river card. Oh, the 5! Your son is a bracelet winner. Joe Hachem came close.
That's poker, Lon.
Dutch Boyd got a monkey off his back and now finds himself on the shoulders of his friends. Bracelet number 1 for Dutch Boyd.
Joe Hachem played like a world champion, just the victim of bad luck.
And what a night Mom chose to surprise her son. It certainly was not an easy day for Dutch Boyd as he butted heads with a world champ.
Trying to bully me around, Dutch?
That's what I'm trying to do.
It's working.
Time and time again.
How many times am I going to have to put this guy all in?
But in the end, Dutch Boyd finally prevailed.
You said that on other final tables you'd fallen apart in the past. What was the difference today here?
Honestly, I think that the difference today was I just looked behind my shoulder and I saw everybody that I loved in the world right there. And I couldn't let him down. I needed to win it. You know, not only for myself, but for everybody out there who's believed in me my whole life. And maybe I wasn't deserving of that. And now I wish I could give this moment to everybody out there watching it because this is so amazing. It's so amazing.
For the first time, Dutch Boyd can call himself a World Series champion. Thanks for watching the World Series of Poker.